Cool. Yeah, so first of all, how have you settled in and how are you finding the city?
Settled in well. It's been busy. The city I've not really seen much of because it's just been in the training ground so far and into the stadium. So I'll get to the city hopefully. But I like the cathedral. I mean, that's nice. So I'll try and get to that at some point.
Cool. So obviously the club took their time quite rightly in finding the new manager. How was that process for you?
Tough, rigorous process. Lots of challenges, which I quite like because I think they really dug deep into me and where I've been, what I've done, and all the detail around it. So football doesn't usually operate like that, but I actually quite like that because I think for me it showed that the club has a plan and they're really diligent on their recruitment. So yeah, tough is the answer from Liam and from Jez and the board, but yeah, good.
Yeah, so the club sits in 9th place at the minute. So how are you going to use your experience as a coach and come in and push for that playoff spot? And what have you seen so far from the lads to sort of give you hope that that's a possibility?
So I've seen a really good, honest, hard-working group. I've seen some really good young talent that needs to be nurtured and flourished, and I've seen a few older pros that really help that as well. So I've seen a really good, honest group, which I think not every day the fans see that, but I can guarantee the fans that they're good. They're a good group in that sense. I think sometimes my bit is to probably add a little bit of the finesse around what they do and help them with the game and mature because they are young. Sometimes the game is a challenge for them, so I think that's my bit to try and help them to push and then on match day push them to try and win games.
Are you pleased to have Tom Shaw working alongside you as well?
Yeah, so I didn't know Tom before I came in the building, but he seems he is a really good character and he's done a great job in interim, and I know better than anyone how difficult interim periods could be at clubs, but I think he's done a sterling job, and he's first and foremost he's honest, he's hard working, and he's got some really good technical attributes, so yeah, I'm really pleased with Tom.
So you've got Stevenage on Saturday. They've obviously started quite well. How are you going to look to approach that game, and what are your thoughts on Steve Evans as a coach?
I have no thoughts on Steve Evans. I don't know him, so that's not for me to judge what he's like. Hopefully we'll have a cup of coffee after, but I don't know him, so I can't comment on that. In terms of the game, I think we know what's going to come. I think we know how their style is and how they want to play, and it's effective. You have to say it's effective, and it's probably one of the biggest challenges I think this group will find this season because they're young. And this style of football that we might come up against is going to be a different challenge for them, because a lot of young players who come through youth football don't necessarily play or exposed to that type of way. So I think this is going to be a really challenging game for us.
Just finally, are you looking forward to get in front of the home fans the following week? Yeah,
I'm gutted really that we've got a few away games and I've not been able to get the home fans from the off. That's one of the probably one of the downsides to the fixture calendar at the minute, because I'd love to have seen the home fans early doors, but it is what it is.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So he's covered some of mine already, but how much did you know about Lincoln as a city and the football club before you came here?
Very good question. As a city, again, not a lot. Nearly bought a house here a few years ago, but that's a bit different. But on the outskirts, as a club, it's actually got a really good reputation for growing in the right way. So I spoke to a few people, but I knew a few years ago its reputation and what it's trying to do. And to come in and be part of that journey, I think is really exciting. And I think we really want teams to win and progress through leagues, but actually being patient and clubs building in the right way is really good. And I think Lincoln's definitely that behind the scenes.
And how would you best describe your management style, and what do you think you can bring differently to the team than it's had previously?
High challenge, high support. So I think high challenge by the players and then high support. And I think that means every day being on a training pitch, working hard, getting the best out of them, and then supporting the players to be the best they can be. And if we can do that, I think we'll get success on and off. And I think if we do that, we'll see some players progressing as well in whatever that looks like. That's probably my best way to describe my management style, really.
And you've had different youth roles. Does this present maybe an opportunity for more of the younger players or in the youth teams to progress into senior football with you now at the helm?
I trust in youth, if that's the answer, but I trust in youth when they're ready, because it's important that they have to be ready, otherwise that could actually destroy their career as well. So I think it's about being careful with youth talent, but also I'm not afraid to give youth a chance if I think it's the right time. But also they have to step up to the level as well of the senior game in order to be successful. But I think we have to be more patient, should I say, with youth than some of the senior players. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bigger opportunity. I think it's an opportunity for all players because it's senior football. So.
And obviously the club have had quite a decent start to the season. Do you think much needs to change, or is it just little tweaks from yourself, like from what you've seen so far?
Little tweaks. I think in this part of the season we can't change big things. So maybe little tweaks to try and improve the team and try and maybe playing a little bit of how I would like to see the team playing and how we want to play as a group of players and staff and how we would like to go about games. But not a lot. You won't see a lot of changes in the short term.
And just two more from me. Have you allowed yourself to set any targets? Like, you thinking about playoffs as a possibility?
I'm thinking about winning on Saturday at the moment. that's my biggest target at the minute, coming in on Monday. I think it's very easy to talk about targets in an industry that is target driven, but actually you've got to remember there's opposition that are trying to stop us getting those targets, and I think that's the most important thing at the minute. We'll get through Saturday and then we'll go from there.
And although it wasn't many games you have managed in the Premier League, including a draw at Old Trafford, how much has that experience helped you as the coach you've since become and can help you going forward at Lincoln?
I think when you're exposed to that, rightly or wrongly, I think what it gives you is the level. It gives you the top level of the game, what it takes to be at the top level for players, what it takes to be at the top level for manager, and it's an unbelievable experience. Putting a team on the pitch that we had to try and win a game a couple of times, but I think the biggest thing is it's all right talking about the level until you've been on that touchline in front of 75,000 screaming fans shouting and at the players, and I think till you've been there you don't really know the level, and it's a really good experience to know what it takes. And
just finally, do you have a message for the fans?
Just get behind us, get behind the team. You'll choose whether to get behind me or not, but definitely get behind the team. I think that's the most important thing, because I definitely have seen at different clubs where the fans get behind the team, it makes such a difference. And I've been here a couple of times and I've seen the fans. I know that's what they're about, which is good.
Just a few questions from me, Charlotte from Links FM and Greater Six Radio. I suppose just start off with, if you're happy to share just a little bit about what you've been up to in the first few days.
Yeah, sure. So day one in the building, where are we now? I don't even know what day it is. Thursday. So day one in the building, Monday was meeting the staff in the afternoon, having a tour around the training ground and the club in the evening. Then we set about planning for training on the Tuesday, because I knew I was going to meet the players for the first time. So meeting the players, getting to know the players on the first day is always difficult, but getting straight down to work and coaching the players and getting out there on the grass with the players. Another couple of staff meetings. Day off for the players yesterday, but me and the coaching staff were then prepping and looking at Stevenage and trying to get up to speed with that. And then back in today, training, and then so non-stop so far, but it's great.
Busy so far, it sounds.
Yeah.
I suppose, in your point of view so far, what's the potential of the team here?
It's early days, but again, I'll go back to it's quite a young group, and that's not doing any disservice to the older players. Even the older players are quite young, so it's definitely a young group. So I think with young groups, you have to be patient, but there's some real good potential in the squad.
I suppose, any thoughts on Saturday's match?
Tough place to go. We know where they are in the league. We know how dominant they are at home. So I think it's going to be a real strong, tough game for us to try and get some points out of.
And I suppose for yourself, do you have any goals in mind already that you'd like to achieve here?
Good question. Yes, I think long term, I think it would be brilliant to get Lincoln up into the Championship. But I think it's going to take a while. I don't think it's something that happens overnight. But if you want to put a long-term goal in, I think that's got to be all our challenges, staff, players, everybody together, club. If we didn't have a goal, then there's no point in being here. So I think that's the important thing.
Absolutely. And just finally, as you mentioned, fans, I suppose, what are your thoughts on Lincoln City fans so far? And I suppose, how important are they?
So I think I've answered the bit there. I think they're really important for the players. You definitely see when the players are behind the fans, and I saw that here already, and I've seen that at Leeds when I was in my old role. And I think, when the fans are with the players, it's so important, and they can feel it. But for me, it's I'll just do my job and support the players in terms of that things and the fans. But yeah, what was part one of that question again?
Well, just mainly your thoughts on them really so far.
Okay, yeah, good. What I know of them, I've met loads of nice fans and good interactions. So I'd like to meet more of them, and hopefully I can get to see some familiar faces.
Amazing. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Just one more from me. I'm
Yep.
also from Links. What specifically is going to challenge you on Saturday when you're playing against Stevenage? What is going to be the challenge against them?
Physicality. They're a strong, big group. Second ball game, we know. So, yeah, the physicality is going to be a challenge for us. But hopefully we can deal with that and manage that well, if we can. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Spencer from The Link.
Hiya.
Obviously, as mentioned before, the club went through a pretty rigorous process of finding the new head coach. What do you feel made you sort of the right fit for Lincoln City?
Young group, so worked with young players for a bit, as you know. Also worked with older players, so people see me as worked with young players, but probably been coaching older players in different roles since I was 18, 19. So my first job actually was in National League South, working with semi-pro players at the age of 19 when I first took my coaching job, so I know what it takes to work with older players as well. But also the fact that we want to build a way on and off the pitch and support the staff to improve, and it's part of my job is supporting the leadership here to improve everything around the club as well as the team, and hopefully we can move the club to the next level that I think everybody wants to go to.
And also, what do you feel will make a great Lincoln City player under yourself?
Brave to get on it when it's the right time and play, and brave to go after it when we haven't got it. Hard working. I don't think some of the brilliant basics, as I call them, you can ever get away with in football. But big heart, but have a little bit of technical finesse that can cause problems for the opposition as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi Michael.
Hello.
So you said in your club interview the other day that you've been to a couple of games here over the past week. So is that something? What did you get out of watching those games?
I was just looking at them as characters, believe it or not. I know lots of people would come and look at the team as what's in the building technically, tactically, but I was just actually trying to watch the characters in the team, and because I think a good coach can improve tactical and technical and things like that. I think that's our job, but you've got to get under the wheels of the characters of the group, because that's not as easy to improve. But one thing I definitely saw was really good characters and players like Lass and the Alex Mitchell or Jack Vale, or all those types of players that you can see have got really big hearts, and that's one thing that excites me about this group.
Is it? What do you make then to the start of the first few games, those couple of away games, and then Barnsley at home? Is that something that looks difficult on paper?
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky because, as we know, those teams are the first one, that third one you spoke about, are up there. But even Leyton Orient away is going to be tricky. I think in this league, going away is tricky for anybody on a Tuesday night. So it's a tough start. But probably an old cliche one. There's no easy game, is there? Really, in any league, in my experience.
And are you happy with how the players have implemented what you've tried to change or implement in these first few days?
Yeah, I think that's my biggest challenge is they're not robots. Players aren't robots, so we have to understand that if you try and change things too quickly, that can actually work against what we're trying to do. So we have to be patient. They have to get to know me. I have to get to know them as characters, but also as players, and they have to know how I want to play or how we want to do it. And it is a we, really, in that sense. And then if we can move it on slowly whilst winning, I think that's the best thing.
That's finally just about your time at Leeds. Is it something that you'll take a lot of experience from into this role here? For
sure, yeah. I think my time at Leeds has been amazing. Loved Leeds, so I don't mind saying it. It was, but this club attracted me away from what I believe is a really good job, and I enjoyed it, but it was just too good to turn down. But I would have nothing bad to say about Leeds. I've absolutely loved my time there with the fans, with the club, with the players, working with the first team for 9 months, 10 months. Being the manager is an amazing journey for me, but I think it's the right time to step out and step into Lincoln, and hopefully, like you say, take all those experiences working with some of the top players in the world every day, to come and hopefully support these players to improve every day.
Thank you.
Hi Michael.
Hello.
It's Roberto from Siren.
Hello.
My first question really is, as you said, making that step, it's your first real job in outright first team management. So do you feel there's a pressure that comes with that, or are you relishing the opportunity to really kind of, get your imprint on the team as a first team manager?
I think there's pressure in football everywhere. I think it doesn't matter what job you do. When I was in with England 18s, you could argue there was pressure there. When I was at Leeds, there was pressure to develop players. When you went into the first team assistant, there's pressure to win games. And then when you're an interim, you're definitely under pressure. So I think as a coach, we learn to deal with the pressure. So yes, there's pressure, but I actually quite enjoy it in some way. But dealing with that pressure is really important. So hopefully that should be no problem. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you've had a few different clubs you've been at. For instance, assistant manager at Loughborough, which obviously in Leicestershire is not actually that far away from here. So, do you feel that all the clubs you've been at, the kind of mix of experiences, will help you have a full-rounded approach to this role at Lincoln City? Yeah,
so I was director of football at Loughborough Uni, so I ran the football programme there. To be clear, but yeah, I've been an assistant at quite a few different places. I've been a manager at quite a few different places, if you like, or head coach. I've been in youth football for many years before, so I've done lots of different football coaching behind the scenes. 20 years of graft, really. So hopefully that's going to come with the experiences of Leeds as well to support players.
Absolutely. And then finally, just looking ahead to the game against Stevenage, as you mentioned, the tough opposition and a team that, of course, did knock out a Premier League side in Aston Villa last season, the Emirates FA Cup. So do you feel that this is a challenge that you're going to tell the squad to really go for, or do you feel that this is a game you kind of have to tread with caution? Because as you say, there's some good players in that squad.
Yeah, that's a good. I think football's about moments, and I think it's about managing the moments in the game. So I think there's times where we're going to have to go after it, and I think there's other times where we're going to have to be pragmatic and deal with what Stevenage throw at us. So I think the biggest thing I find with a young squad is how they manage moments of the game. And that sometimes will have to look pragmatic, and that's other times where they might have an opportunity to be brave on the ball. But for me, football's all about managing moments at this level.